What is up? This is, well, for some of you, this is long awaited. Whole video here. For others of you, perhaps a little bit less so. Right? What is this for exactly? You might be wondering. Well, this is really just to document a whole journey of me becoming a profitable trader, right? So, I can list a little bit of stats before I begin. Why am I even qualified to, start a whole series about the journey becoming a profitable trader? Is this my first time ever trading, etc.? Definitely not. It's been I would say 2 years where I tested out. So, when you go on Instagram and you look at all these people and they have the courses and stuff like that. I remember I enrolled into some course and I made a little bit of money. I put $50 in to account and then I just spent 100% of my risk. And I think I got $12. And from that moment forward, I believe that was just that was it. I was like, wow, this is it. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Well, it turns out it's a little bit harder than just YOLOing $50 and just getting $12 back. And I just thought, listen, if I could just put $100,000 in to one trade, 100% risk, I'll keep going like that. I'll be a millionaire. So clearly that was not very viable. But throughout the 2 years, I dabbled in different things like crypto, stocks, options, binary options, a whole host of other things. And consistently, I returned to forex for whatever reason. I think I like it. I like how much money there is in the market. I like how much liquidity you can have. Some of it is, a little bit shittier, but it's just a part of the game. However, so now, 2-3 years into my journey now, I'm a little bit more versed on the topic of trading, I would say. However, about a year ago, I came up with a strategy I thought was quite good. I've come up with loads of strategies, all of them pretty much failed, but I managed to blow my first account from the Funded Trader, right? And then I read 2 books about it. And by no means, I've had some success, sure, and you cash out, right? And I remember buying a watch. I got $300. But again, remember, this was 100% risk of $100 account. And somehow I managed to get a 2.5 return on one trade and then a 1.1 on another trade. And so I just took all the money out and bought myself a watch, which I'm currently wearing right now, right? But then obviously, a day later, I think half a day later or something, I tried to put in more money. I just lost $500. So obviously you can get lucky, but you're going to, in the long term, get burned. But anyways, right, so why do I start this? Well, I genuinely really like training. I think it's one of the few things in life where it's so complicated, yet it's so simple, right? So if you look at it from the perspective you have 50% chance of winning every time. If you coin flip it, if you just press buy or sell, you should statistically be able to, win half the time. And that's what most people look at it as. And I think it's just so much more complicated than that. And hopefully I can convey that through the coming days now, and I don't know, just show that it is possible. I think that's a huge thing. It's just show that from somebody, because this is, it wouldn't say day one, but this is pretty close to being sitting down and really taking this seriously. And because you slack off a little bit here and there with the markups and the entry signals, and you're not really paying attention to the charts. I think this is just truly where I'm just going to sit down and genuinely get serious about trading and just showcase. I'm by no means a natural talent in any regard. I'm on the lower end of unlikely traders, right? But it's just like, it's possible, right? It's just possible to start from day one having, a little bit of experience in each market, but not really having any consistent results, to becoming someone who has consistent results on, on a period of, I don't know how long this will be, 6 months, a year, 2 years. I don't think you'll be sticking to me for 2 years if there's absolutely no results, or maybe you will. Maybe this is something, or a series where you'll learn from my mistakes and perhaps not make the same mistakes. So I would say the mistake already is, don't use 100% risk. You're a complete dummy if you do, and you're going to lose all your money. Even if you get 100% return on your money, so let's say you risk 100 and you only have 100. Well, first of all, you're probably going to get margin called, and you're going to get liquidated. And even if you don't, and the slightest possibility that you're not going to be able to do that, you'll just lose all your money afterwards. Trust me, you will. So, right. Usually on a Sunday, so this is the beginning, and I'm just going to put day 1. Now, I have a strategy. I do have a strategy. If anyone who has seen Alex FX, right? I'm following pretty much his strategy. I like it. It's simple. It's a lot of confluences to take one trade, which is much more likely to take a trade, right? So you can probably see this in action. Will it change? I have no idea. Like many great people, you just follow whoever is successful in that industry, and he's very successful in that industry. So just why not follow him? He's already done it. So I believe that there's repeatable steps in it. But I'm not going to drag this intro way too long. Let's just get straight into juicy stuff here. So, what this is going to consist of is basically a weekly outlook, which I do on Sundays. And then every single day, it's not going to be nearly as long as this. Or maybe it will. I have no idea. This is going to be an evolving series. I suppose it's going to be depending on what you guys like. But I'm a bit of an early riser right now. It's currently about, 6:23 in the real time zone, which means European time zone, because that's where I'm located. But yeah, that's essentially it. That's just how it's going to look. Probably in the mornings here at around between 5 and 6, because I've got uni and stuff. I am going to make the daily outlook react to how prices reacted and share my plans for exactly what is going to be the options. Let's say price goes a little bit sideways here and then suddenly breaks the lower low. What is my option 1? Is it, a retest on the break here and then just go straight down? Or is it the other option? Here. There's the other option where you have the same scenario here, but suddenly it breaks the higher low. Is it for the retest here? So you're going to know a little bit about that, and you're just going to be able to, essentially, if you want to follow, it isn't nearly like getting signals or something, but it's just me talking about what I believe is going to happen, and based on my analysis. And I don't know, who knows, might turn into a big thing if I'm consistently correct about everything, or maybe not. We'll see. Again, day 1, so a little bit future casting is not the best. But okay, let's just jump straight into it here, because I don't want to keep your time for that long here. Right, so what are we going to do first? We are going to look at, let's see here, Euro JPY. Now, I have a very love-hate relationship between this pair. Okay, that's moved up here, because it's a really good pair, but sometimes it can really wick you out, right? So if you look at these things like here, massive wicks on this side here, and then it's just completely fine until it wicks you out again with some massive ass thing here, some massive ass thing here, right? So it's just slightly annoying, but I really do like the pair. So for example, I was wicked out by this like 153 pip wick here. Let's measure it. Here we go. There you go, 155 pip candle. So it is what it is. It would have been a nice, I think, nearly 4% position, but it's just the cost of doing business here. Right, so these pairs here, every time you're going to see them on my right hand side, I have currently 5 pairs lined up for the week, and that's based on Sunday. So you didn't see me doing it on Sunday, but next Sunday, so it's currently Wednesday today, if I believe, right? Yeah, it's Wednesday today. So on Sunday you're going to see me doing it, and I don't believe Saturday will be a recording day just because the market's closed and there's nothing for me to talk about other than what would have happened on Sunday, and nothing changes, so I think it'll be 6 days a week. But anyways, so let's look at it here. Let's just start. Currently, what you're going to line up here is the amount of confluences you have to take the trade, right? So you have a higher high, then you have a higher low, which is for some reason not displayed today. Great start here. Let's see. There you go. And it's probably going to be a little bit down here. There. So we're going to have a higher low. Right? So that's on the elbow here. So we just have this, and a break above. So first higher low was down here. Then it's the break above here, where this moves to here. And then it's down here. And then, oh well, actually I was correct. Never mind. Down there. Sorry. It's probably not a smooth following video, but it's fine. I was actually going to record this when I was going to take a trade or something, but I was like, it's never going to be the perfect moment. Just start. It doesn't matter. Just press the record button. Okay, so we've got the higher low. What I'm expecting here is for it to hit the first daily interest and just bounce right back up, because as you see on the daily, overall, we're on a uptrend. And then the same thing we've got with weekly, we're also in an uptrend, right? So just because it has 2 days left doesn't mean it can not completely reverse on this side here. I've seen that happen so many times. I've had candles that look like that here, and they just immediately fall straight to the ground, like this, for example. It was all the way down here on the daily, and it was there for nearly 4 out of 5 days and just immediately went back up again. So this doesn't mean anything. It only means something when it's candle closed, right? So I'm going to delete this here. And I already wrote up the confluences here. So let's see. We have bullish on daily. And already you can tell it's going to be bullish on 4 hour, right? And then weekly is also bullish. Now, I believe I put it somewhere here. Let's see. Yeah, we got the confluences to go along here. So this changed last time I looked at it. So we'll have 4 hour is bullish there. And so we'll have a total of 30%. Now, you might be wondering, if you've never seen this strategy, if you've seen it, you completely understand what it is. If you don't, then this is maybe a little bit new to you. So, as simple as I can explain it, is basically that each confluence is worth 10%. In some, it's 5, depending, because there's different levels of confluences that you have. But I'm just going to pull out the whole thing here and just tell you. Just wait. So, here you go. There you go. Oh, that's a little bit too big, perhaps. Right. And too small. Let's do 14 and... yeah, sure, whatever. So, each one here is 10%, 10%, 10%, and that's for a total of 30. So, the amount of percentage basically goes towards an overall grade of the trade, and that tells you if it's an A, B, or C. So, A is 90% and above, B is 80 to 70. Well, it's going to be probably more like 85 to 80 would be around a B setup. It depends. It's your own definition of it. I got bad grades in school, so a C was amazing for me, and that's going to be a 70%. So just take the average of what your usual grades is in your school system, because I know different countries have different ways of doing it, but that's basically how I grade trades. So every time here, as you can see, we have a weekly, daily checklist, and we have 4 hour checklist. Why don't we have this one on 4 hour? Well, because we're only working on 2 time frames in sync here, and that's just going to matter on the daily and the weekly. I don't take 4 hour daily level or 4-hour levels or areas of interest into consideration because I don't believe they're strong enough, and some other stuff like that. But that's essentially the basics of it. And it's the same way that you wouldn't take into 30 minutes on the levels. I'm not a scalper. I'm more like I take the trade and I hold for several days. And those are more suited to how I trade, which is the daily and weekly areas of interest. That's what this says, by the way. Area of interest. Cool. So the only thing we're really waiting for here on the Euro JPY is basically for this to bounce back here and go up. If it goes up again, all we do is just move the higher low, and we move this one as well, and then do the same thing, which would be, would be up here, boom, boom. That's how I look at it from this, because there's just no other way. I'm not going to try to short it here. So that's on the weekly here, like that, right? So you might be wondering, why aren't you writing up any confluences, right? Well, the first one that we have to have is that it touches the area of interest. Is it touching the area of interest? Well, no, because this is the daily area of interest, and it's quite a few pips away, so that's what we're waiting for. It's approximately, 60 pips away, so we're waiting for it to do that. Now, what I do, and I don't think I've seen anybody else do this, it's just for convenience, because I really, really hate doing this way of sending alerts, because a lot of people would say, oh yeah, send alert, boom, boom, and you just say daily area of interest hit, right? So if you put it once, that means that even if there is a wick, so let's just create it here. If there's a wick that comes through here, so let's say that you have a position up here, like that, and I'm just going to try to make this as pretty as possible. You have a wick that comes in here. This will get triggered regardless if the closing candle is going to be down here. And what you want is the closing candle. I don't care about wicks. It just tells me where price has been. Unless the candle has closed in this area or on this daily of interest, then it doesn't matter to me. And what I would find so many times would be basically, this one would have two options. Hit only once or every single time. And all you're going to get is like 57 times. If the price comes into your area of interest, you're going to just get a bunch of alerts, and you're just going to have to sit on the charts waiting. So I don't really know how to use this. I don't think this is the way to do it. I think the better way of doing it is the following. So I'm going to delete this, and what we're going to do is we're going to set an alarm every time price closes under, right? So that's something you have to do this way, or it's the only way I've found it, really. You set this. Now remember, also you have to pull it in, or else it has to be on price here, or else it's not going to alert. Then there's an option here, which is add alert. Now we have a little bit more options. We have 4 options here. And if you just go once per bar close, immediately now we've changed it. So every time this gets triggered, that means 100% that it closed underneath, which is what we want, right? We don't want a bunch of fake signals and sitting on the charts. I don't need to be known that Euro JPP has hit my daily of interest unless it's closed. So that's what we're doing. So we're doing daily area of interest hit. Great. Now, after a while, you might say, well, all these lines are a bit annoying to have constantly. You're right. So what I do is I have a template already, which is just basically putting events there. Now, it's still there if you find it here. You can see it here on this. I already have an alert set here, so sorry. But yes, that's essentially how you do it. You just put the alert there. Yep, there, because I still have it here. And that's how I do it. So now every time it gets triggered, it means 100% I'm hitting the daily of interest, right? So that's one. Now, I'm not going to go through this much detail in every single one. I'm just trying to explain how you do it first time, and then you can just see it repeated. Right, so this was my plan originally. This clearly failed a little bit here. So my plan here is essentially for this to go up, bounce back, and then if this closes again, as you can see, it's got 16 hours before it can close. It can do that if it wants to. We have no idea, right? But what ideally will happen is that we go up, down, there's a bit of resistance on this part here, massive wick as well. I actually took a trade on this and I got massively wicked out. and it goes up here, and then we use a previous level of structure on this one, just as a little bit of an area of interest. But ideally, I think it'll be more down here, because then I have 3 touches and a bit of a area of interest level I can draw up here. But again, we're waiting because we have no idea. So I believe this one already has a level set up, if it doesn't, I'll set it right now. But that's just how we do it. So we're just, in this period, we're waiting, right? So we're just going to put that down here and then go up. But for now, that's just an indication of what we think might happen. But right now, let's see where it is. We have this this is where we would put it if it was closed above, but still 16 hours. So what we're going to do is just that. Now you can't see because it's invisible. Just boom. There, daily area of interest. Hit. Once per bar close. Boom. That's it. That's as simple. We're going to move on. This one, I don't even want to, discuss this. This was a bit of a weird closing, because you usually see this on Fridays. This kind of price movement is something you see on Fridays, but I've got no idea what this is. So we're just going to move on from there, because I can't see anything. Usually the strategy consists of you finding area of interest for you to bounce off or take sells or anything. Here, there's just nothing. For so long, we're already closed. Our lower high has nothing. There's no elbow, so we're just going to move on from that. So actually, I'm going to put that at the bottom here, like so. Right. This one, the same here. So currently, we are at daily of interest just about. We were this morning, actually. Sorry. Yesterday. Essentially, we would have taken the trade here, but when I was looking at it, it was such a poor entry signal for me that I could not take it. Like, the risk to reward ratio would have been a joke. It would have been something like this, basically. It was down to here, down to like that. So for those of you who don't know, well, obviously, it's going to be 2.52% is like, it's if I see something like a 90% or something like that, I'm going to take 2%, but it's between 2.5 to 2% per trade, which is just looks like, like that, slightly like that. That's what it looks like with 2%. And obviously, I'm not going to try to go against structure here. It's telling me the higher high is here. I'm not going to try to aim up here or down here or try to put my stop loss super small. I'm following the rules of the strategy, which you'll see once there is an entry signal and stuff like that. But that's essentially it. I'm just going to speed through last two here. This was a trade I was backtesting, and this was actually, I should have taken the trade, but I wasn't at the charts on Monday to take it. So if you took a 4-hour look here, it was a really good trade, loads of confluences aligning with this. So essentially how it would have worked out was the stop loss is too big for me to get stopped out on these ones. It nearly got stopped out here, but basically took it on the area of interest on a bullish engulfing candle and just let it fly. And that would have been a 2.79% position. Unfortunately, I just backtested it and saw, I would have taken it, but I just wasn't there for it. Right. And then finally, we have USD JPY. All right, let's see. Same thing. It's just, I don't think, sorry, this one we already excluded, so I'm just going to put it on the side here. But yeah, I was also taking a little look at gold, but I'm not seeing anything position entry there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You'll get these every single morning. If you're in America, probably every night at like 4 a.m. But yeah, that's essentially it. You're just gonna get these, and maybe it helps with your trading, maybe it doesn't. Again, up to you. But I'll keep the video short here, not take too much of your time. I would suggest for future videos, maybe watch it at 2 times speed, because I say a lot of stuff, and maybe you could just make the video twice as short by just watching it 2 times speed, because there's a lot of talking. At least you got subtitles underneath. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So welcome to the series, welcome to day 1, and I'll catch you in the next one. So I'll see you tomorrow.